Welcome to God with George Ortega. This is episode number 115. I'm recording it on Wednesday, March 31st, 2021 at 5:47 p.m. Eastern Time. And how you doing, God? So we just talked for half an hour, so this is another 28 minutes. And so what we were talking about, I want to continue this, God, because for example, perfect, this is not just what I need, this is what the world needs. So for example, we've got the song Maxwell Silverhammer, it's celebrating some guy who just bangs on the head people that he doesn't like, and I think it's a sick song. I really do in terms of the lyrics, but again, the music is good. So as I hear myself saying that, I hear you kind of like your voice, your angelic voice telling me, well, don't go for it, dude. This is a test. I put that song on that album because I know I knew that people like you would want to play it, but I'm telling you, no, it's a test. Don't play songs like that. I mean, that's what you're making me think now. Naturally, next week you might have me look at the situation and say, nah, there's nothing wrong with it. But I guess what I'm asking you guys is I count on you to get me to do the right thing, to get me to understand, between two or more options, what's the right thing to do. So I'd appreciate your helping me out with that. All right, what else? So see that guitar back there? I think I'm talking to the audience now. Yeah, I mean, I gave up on guitar because my goal, and I don't think it's achievable. I think I was overreaching on this. My goal was well, this isn't about God. I mean, because it's funny, or I'm sorry, I can't go because this series is supposed to be about God. If I'm praying to you, God, about, for example, helping me decide what song to sing and stuff, fine. But I just don't think that I should be talking about, my switching from lead guitar to bass guitar, the last couple of years or so. And, because that's not what this show is about, right? Right. So, all right, 25 minutes left. I'm looking forward to this class tonight, God. Thank you. You kept me away from it for weeks. I mean, I've made out of the last 7 or 8 times that met, I've maybe made it twice. And I like this class, I like, it's a good class. So thank you for, for at least, well, I hope I hope I attended. No reason I shouldn't. What else? All right, God, there are some people that I have been kind of avoiding a bit. And, part of it makes sense, that another part doesn't. So I want you, I need your help in kind of it seems like to connect with a certain person seems like the virtuous thing to do. But it does come with a certain amount of concern. This person can be not the best influence. I mean, it's not. Yeah. So I think what I'm asking you, God, is because this is, and it's all discernment. It's all trying to figure out what's right and wrong. So God, what you have me thinking is yes, fine, reach out to them, return the call, but don't get sucked into sometimes people have dysfunctional patterns. This particular person, they just they talk and talk and talk, and it's they enjoy. It's they should have been an actor, but, and I'm not, some people, I guess, enjoy that, just listening to someone just go on and on and on. I just prefer more of a back and forth kind of like interaction. So God, what I'm asking you for is like, fine, if you want me to talk with this person, to be friendly to this person, yes, but I don't want to fall into a pattern where the person is like routinely, consistently aggravating me. I mean, I don't like to do that to people. I try not to. And naturally, wouldn't don't like it done to me. So it's not like I'm blaming the person either, like they don't have a free will, but that's just part of the equation. All right, so the last episode just finished processing, good. So 22 minutes left. Um, and I God, going back to the Beatles, like for some reason now you have me like, I posted on Facebook. You gave me this great phrase that I put on my Facebook thing. It said like, the Beatles are to music what Einstein is to science. And that's original. I didn't read that anywhere. You just gave me that. I appreciate that. And it's true. And so now I'm thinking to myself, like, there's other bands like the Stones and the Who and Yes and Pink Floyd and a lot of like a lot of good music, but I'm just coming to the recognition perhaps that the Beatles really are in a class of their own, just like Einstein's in a class of his own in a way. I mean, Darwin and Newton are up there really with Einstein, I think, um, but so yeah, so God, I guess, if you want me to just like stick to the Beatles, but no, the other part is like I do. Well, here's the thing, God. I mean, here's my challenge. I mean, like, you've got me trying to decide between jamming to Beatles or love songs. And it could be the answer is like, well, to alternate, do a little Beatles, depending on how you feel. But recently, after playing a lot of Beatles stuff and just like acknowledging and appreciating the brilliance, the genius of the arrangements, of the melodies, of the whole production, then I just like I started, jamming to some love song by a good 60s, 70s group. But then I just noticed the difference. I say, wait a minute, this is just not the same quality as the Beatles. So like, anyway, I need your help on that. Because the Beatles, there's a lot of love songs that they didn't write that I think are still good. But all right, what else? Excuse me. All right, so what else is going on? Yeah, you've had me, get some stuff done in the apartment that feels good. I still have more to do, like and so, but it's getting done slowly but surely. I went into town to get a few things earlier today. Needed a surge protector, and yeah, things are going well. I appreciate it, God. All right, so God, what do you want to talk about? Because like, and I can just imagine, talking with you for, after an hour and a half of this, what are we going to talk about? I don't know. I mean, there are, it's interesting when I talk to you like this, and I am kind of like, yeah, I'm aware that the audience, that I'm talking kind of like to the audience or to myself also, but this really does feel strongly enough that I'm talking with you. I get that, I have that feeling. And I guess what you're having me now consider is like, well, all right, so how do we spend this time? What do we do? Talking with you, I think is, well, I think we one of the things we can do is like just explore what this talking to you is about with you. When I talk to another person, I'm talking with you fine, but it's indirectly, and it's indirectly to a major extent, because like whoever I'm talking to may not be all that bright or that correct about what they're saying, Whereas like with you, well, pretty much know everything, right? So, so there's a major, major difference between talking a person to a person, which is indirectly talking with you. And even interestingly, even this talking that I'm doing now with you is indirect in the sense that that you're basically feeding me the lines. Whatever I'm saying because you're putting into my mouth, the words into my mouth. So it's an indirect communication, but it's more direct than talking to people, which is kind of like ironic because most times, no offense, God, but most times I enjoy talking with other people. The problem is like, well, one of the problems, God, it's your fault. First of all, you made me really smart. And so it's hard for me to, imagine like, you're a tennis player and you're really good, but it's hard to find somebody on your level, but the other part, God, and then this is your doing, is like you had me, spend years cultivating not just my happiness, but my virtue. And so like, finding other people that are, as invested in virtue is not all that easy. And I just like, God, I mean, like it's not like I've put much effort into it really, trying to find these people. I should. Actually, no, let me ask you this, God. I believe that the most virtuous people on the planet would have to be vegan. And I say this, God, for example, like you've got the Dalai Lama, who a lot of people respect as a spiritual leader. And, I read his book, The Art of Happiness. I mean, the guy's all right. He gets it, the basic spiritual stuff. But the fact that he's not a vegan or a vegetarian, no, that's not right. I mean, I think vegans have a higher standard of virtue than carnists, than omnivore, or carnists, people who just like choose to eat meat. And it's kind of like, let's say, well, a good analogy is like with slavery. It's like if everyone around you is a slaveholder and you're really, you've got the sensibilities of somebody in the 21st century, not in the 1850s or 40s, whatever. And you see how wrong it is. But everybody's like that. That's how I feel, God. You put me in a world where there are very few vegans. Just like back then, there must have been very few abolitionists. And so, God, yeah, let's talk about this because, like, for years, I could seek out vegans on meetups. And so, my first question, and I've asked you this before, at least I've thought about it. The question that's come to mind, you put the question in my mind, is like, why haven't I reached out to them? I don't have a good answer. I mean, there's a vegan that I know, like who lives a block away. This guy, and he's a vegan, but we didn't seem to have all that much in common. But that, no, I still think that, yeah, I think, I mean, I seek out religious people because I believe that, that being religious, that, believing God, understanding God, it's very important, but other things are important. Well, this is actually part of being religious, really, I mean, to be religious is to be concerned with the welfare of animals. To understand that they're sentient, that they feel pain, and to empathize with them, and to not want to be complicit in their suffering. So God, yes, I would like, I mean, you've got me, having joined a congregation, and that's, I'm very, very grateful for that. To me, it's a brand new world, and I've got to like, I got to do a little reforming because, like, fine, the people in the congregation may not be vegans, but they're good at kind of like being very respectful and having this community feeling, whereas sometimes I like to, rock the boat if I feel it needs to be rocked. And so, yes, so there's a learning curve there for me to be a kind of like a trusted and respectful member of this community, and I'm working on it. But again, in my congregation, I don't know how many vegans there are. I'm not sure that I know any, actually. Um, and so, yeah. So, all right. That's something I would definitely want to talk with you some more about, and like, because the other thing, God, is like, you don't have me going on Meetup much anymore. Whereas like when this started, remember like last March, I was hosting these events, I'd call them parties, and I would get 5, 10, 15 people each time, night after night after night. That was like so much fun. But you have me not doing that anymore. I don't really understand why that is. I guess I kind of burnt out. I don't know. So what else? And God, it seems like, all right, well, I've got to talk to you about some things in private, and I can't do it here because they're personal, and I may be talking with you, but I have a feeling that other people may be listening. So I better talk to you off camera because I have a feeling the mic is hot. So anyway, yeah, because you got me considering things that that would be steps forward in my life, but I don't know if they're the right thing to do, or if they are the right thing to do, I'm not sure I'm ready to do them. So we got to figure that out. All right, 11 minutes left. Thank you for having me do these 2 episodes. I feel great now. I'm done for the week. I don't have to record Thursday, tomorrow, or Friday, or Saturday. I got 3 days off. That's not bad. So I'll record on Sunday. And yes, God, if you wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind experimenting with at least have me on Sunday do at least 3 episodes, one after the other, whatever. That'd be cool. I mean, if 5, I'd be willing to do 5. If you want to make me do 5, it's kind of like a workout, like going to the gym, talking gym. All right, what else? Thank you for having one of my smooth, duet singer people who I used to sing with regularly, join me on this, smooth collaboration. I just started and get in touch with me. I got a writer. She's a nice person. I've never met her really, except through the app, but she's actually close by. I think she's in the county. It's nice. We just like, but that was nice, because I remember those, back in 2014 and 15, when I was just like singing 5, 10 songs a day, day after day. So much fun. I don't think I'm going to be doing that, at least with the singing. Well, no, sometimes I have to do it like, part of the problem, and I'm going to talk to the audience for a minute, God, I guess. Oh, I don't know, I have to, whatever. But part of the problem is that like, I want to for example, like jam to Beatles songs, and I want to put these recordings on Facebook or on Facebook, upload them to Facebook. And, but see if, copyright laws don't allow you to do that, with the original recording. So there's some cover, renditions of different Beatles songs like Hey Jude and whatever that people create. But they, through Smule, they're available, but somebody's got to like do the vocals. And actually just gave me this idea. It's like, I'm thinking to myself, I don't really want to do the vocals for these songs. So what I'm going to have to do is, because I want to play the bass guitar again. I want to just jam to the bass with these songs, but I just don't want to sing them. So like, yes, God, what I need your help with is, if I'm going to do that, I need to join other people's collaborations, not start my own. Okay. All right, I'm running out of material. I'm just like, you know, I hope I sleep well tonight. Again, 6 hours. I had a decent day. Took 2 walks. One, I did some food shopping early in the morning, and then I went out again because I had to mail something and just got a few other things. But what else? All right, God, I don't feel good about just like talking about whatever. If we're going to talk, if we're going to meet like this, it's got to be substantial. It's got to be important. I can't just be rambling on about whatever. So let's put our heads together and let's come up with some kind of a topic. Well, God, here's a topic. I have a feeling that you are in the process of really ramping up civilization. And what I mean by that is, we as a human species are becoming more and more civilized. You wouldn't think so the way we treat these animals. That's, a major anomaly in this. But in many other ways, we're becoming much better. And we've got a ways to go. But, what I'm trying to say, God, is it seems to me that you're leading us in that direction, that you're essentially in the process of creating a much, much better world for everyone, for people who have been, unfairly treated, just for all of us, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to being a part of that process, because I think we should all be a part of the process, however we can be. So yeah, that's a cool thing to talk about. I really do believe that, the Republican Party's history, and again, they'll come back and they're not going to go away completely. Because basically there's two kinds of people, like, you have Republicans, conservatives who are like, they're very much into authority and loyalty and tradition, whereas like liberals are into like empathy and compassion and progress, just like making the world better in various ways, change, adapting to new circumstances. And so I guess, God, like what I think you may be doing, and what I think, I thank you for, if this is the case, is you're kind of like, perhaps, well, just straightening everything out, because again, the Republicans just for so long have just been gumming things up, just not allowing things that need to happen. But if they, they're gonna want influence, and I think they're going to be forced to come up with good ideas that everyone will agree with, that are good. And so I think, I think you're, excuse me, hold on. Yeah, I think that's what you're doing. I think it's beyond that. And to be honest, the world is so surreal now. Like, Biden's talking about like this major, it's like a Cold War thing. You've got like China and Russia, these autocracies, these sham democracies, and then whether the world is going to eventually become autocratic, so these dictators just running things throughout the world, or whether democracies are going to prevail. So like, God, I think what you're doing is, by ending the Republican Party as we know it, I think you're setting up the circumstances so that we can practice democracy the way it was intended. because I do believe that democracy is my first, I can't be completely sure about this because, but it seems in general, democracy is a better form of government than any kind of dictatorship, autocracy. And the reason being is that, like, you have, let's say, one person who's a king, and the guy's brilliant, the guy's so great and all, but he's, gives birth to some idiot son who just, like, who just who ascends to the throne, but it's just like the last person who should be there. So that's the problem with autocracies. But anyway, you're bringing this world to some major changes, and I'm going to remain optimistic. Yes, I understand we've got climate change. I understand it's going to be challenging in certain ways, but I trust and believe that that you are preparing to raise the virtue of this world. It could be in 5-10 years. No, these animal farms are completely closed. Nobody's farming animals. And then people will ask themselves, how could we ever have, taken part in that kind of a system? Just like they might have asked themselves, how could we, own slaves a long time ago? So I think that's one part of I think something we can look forward to. All right, well, I am almost done. I've got about a minute and a half left. God, I appreciate your talking with me again. I appreciate your making me do both episodes today. And so, like, I will upload them and send them to the studio. And so, yeah, that means for the rest of the week, I because this is like my ongoing, day-to-day must do obligation, whatever, which is nice. But for the end of the week, I'm looking forward to playing a lot more music. God, thank you, for getting me to realize much more clearly, much more strongly that, yeah, I'm a do-gooder, I'm a progressive, I'm an activist, but that's only because, like, for example, if there was a war going on, it'd be a soldier, right? Because, like, it's duty, it's responsibility. But no, what I would prefer to be doing is playing bass guitar. Well, I mean, like, I love improving the world. I mean, if I could, succeed, if I could, like, lead a think tank or something like that, that'd be awesome. But if you're not going to, like, have me do anything like that, then I appreciate that you're allowing me to communicate with you, to connect with you through this music. I really appreciate it. All right, so thanks for watching. Catch this every Monday through Friday channel. All right, all that. I'm running out of time, so thanks. Have a great weekend.